Testing 1, 2, 3. Test. Friends Don't Let Friends by Over the Counter Hearing Aids. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but before we get into anything, first and foremost, we got to introduce our friend, which is some bourbon. Give me 1 second. We're going to pour. My wife, she gifted me this bottle, which is American Brick Spirits. Now, as you can see, it was a gift, and I was anxious, and I got into it. Something I've been enjoying, but that is the bourbon of choice. That's one that we're going to be sipping on today. Alrighty, guys. So, cheers. We're going to be having a drink. Welcome to the Wax and Whiskey podcast. What this show is about is I'm an audiology practice owner. I go by Bald Hearing Guy. You may or may not have seen me on social media, but I decided in my social media content, it's really in the office, a little more professional. I do have some fun, but I was like, you know what? Let me talk about these things in a more casual setting, and I decided in my home. I decided away from patients, not in the office, not where I'm wearing a shirt and tie, where I'm a little bit more free to tell you all of what I really, really think. So I'm not sure if this sort of content would reach consumers. If so, I mean, hang out. We're going to talk about over the counter. It's a hot subject right now. But first, cheers. Oh, that's good. That's good. For my bourbon drinkers, I'm new. I've been having fun, trying different things. Our last episode was with the St. Augustine Bourbon here in Florida. I thought this was fitting. My background's actually from New York. I was born and raised in New York City. I'm from the Bronx and then moved to Florida in 2006. So when my wife got me this, when she got me this as a gift, I was like, you know what? That's perfect for the episode. It's perfect for the podcast. So, over-the-counter hearing aids. We're going to talk a little bit about everything on the show, entrepreneurship, but it's going to be audiology. It's going to be hearing related. And this is a subject that is everywhere. So actually, a little backstory. I just came today from doing a podcast, and we were talking about this. I was a guest on a podcast, and, it made me go, man, let me take some time and talk about this a little bit more in depth. Let me share it on my platforms, and hopefully it reaches the right person if you guys have questions. But when it comes to hearing loss, one thing that we're seeing everywhere, we're getting bombarded. It's on TV, it's on ads, it's on newspapers. It's, if you guys have a senior in your life or you are a senior watching this and you just feel like all you keep seeing is these $200 things, proceed with caution. This is the caution. Let me give you an inside scoop. So when you have a hearing loss, really a prescription hearing aid is amplification, but it's amplification done right. It's amplification set to your needs, set to whatever the patient needs, right? When we have amplifiers, which is sort of what started this, we've had amplifiers that have been sold online and everything forever. But in 2019, I think it was, the FDA said, hey, you will now be able to go ahead and buy an over-the-counter hearing aid device. And they made this whole other classification. It's not a prescription hearing aid. There is a huge distinction, but it says hearing aid, and people are confused. What these things are giving you amplification. And I spoke a little bit about this in my last episode, which was about the AirPods. The AirPods are just a hearing device. They're headphones like anything else, like what I'm wearing right now. They can produce audio, right? And, man, this is good. It's good on its own. So I'm trying to figure out what's good for me, what's not good for me, what I like, what I dislike. I've had some things that I'm like, I don't know. It's a little strong. It tastes like it has like a cherry-ish aftertaste. I don't even know if that's right, but that's what comes to my mind. There's a little sweetness in the end, maybe burnt caramel. I'm not sure. But anyways, when it comes to these devices, they're giving you amplification, and that is just making the sound louder. And for a lot of people, it might be like, I just need to hear, you know what I'm saying? Like, just turn it up. Like, I just don't want the TV to keep turning up. I don't want my wife to be on my case and saying, this TV's so loud, or the kids to say, like, as I pull into the driveway, how many of you guys have had that, right? Like, you pull into the driveway or you're walking in the house and the TV is blaring. It's so loud. The other thing is cell phones. Have you guys been in like a doctor's office and then there's always somebody, right, that has their phone and it's blaring, or the subway, if you guys are in New York, or any space, right? Like you're sitting down and this person's phone is blaring. An amplifier or any device that's going to give amplification, not just like transmit the audio, that person most likely has some hearing loss going on. So we want to tag our family members. But something that's going to give them amplification is going to help them hear better. It's going to help them, one, not disrupt the people around them, and it's going to boost the power. And you might think, well, that's my problem, that's my fix. There's more to the story. So whenever you get a hearing evaluation, I don't want to get nerdy. This is not the space for that. I just can't help but like merging into this. But when you have a hearing evaluation, we're finding out what is your prescription. And the only way to hit your prescription is with prescription hearing aids that allow the provider. So that's what I do in my office. I own an audiology practice in Altamont Springs, and we help people hear. And it's with prescription hearing aids. We're able to make sure that it's fitting what they need. Right. So not just turn it up louder and subjectively go like, oh, that's cool, that sounds good. That doesn't, no. A weird analogy that I like to say is like if you go to get your car, let's say you're going to go to the tire shop, you get an oil change, and they ask you if you want to get an alignment. Have you guys ever had an alignment and they'll show you the report and it's way out of spec, like it was out of spec and they brought it back in? Awesome. That's what you just paid them for, is to bring the tires back in spec so you don't keep wearing them. There's less wear and tear. It's safer for your car, better for everything. It's better miles per gallon, all this other stuff. I'm sorry, I'm going down a car tangent. A prescription hearing aid that is verified, that we know that it's doing what it's supposed to, is kind of that. We know what your problem is. We fix your problem. We can see it on screen. It's objective. We know that you're hearing better, where an amplifier, an over-the-counter, is going to make it louder, and that doesn't necessarily, like, is it loud? Yes. Is it giving some power? Yes, but it's still not what you need, right? And this is that distinction, and what's making people go crazy is money. So talking about money, this can be sold just about anywhere. We were talking recently that Consumer Reports was, in the other podcast, Consumer Reports was saying these are the good types of hearing aids that we have. They were over-the-counter hearing aids. And I made a point that if there is any financial, one, it's a hot subject to talk about hearing aids and cheap and amplifier and over-the-counter, because this is what a lot of seniors are looking for, right? That's why it's on TV. That's why there's ads, because they know they're going to get you. Cheap hearing aid, that's what everyone's searching for, because hearing aids are pricey. They are expensive, but you get what you pay for. So the on these ads, it's kind of biased, right? It's like what if I was on here right now on the podcast and I told you, hey guys, the Sony blah, 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 this and that is sold for $800 and it's the best device ever. You put it in, you don't see a provider, click the link, order it now. Guess who's making some commission, right? Now I could do that. It's kind of like selling your soul is the way that I see it. I'm a provider in my family. I have a family to support. You guys see the dad gang. I'm wearing some Mickey Mouse stuff. I live in Florida. I have little girls. We live at Disney. I'm Disneyed out. Okay, that's a whole other subject. Right? It would be financially tempting for me to be the guy that's like, oh, buy this thing and you're going to love it. Especially because like we're building some traction online. But that goes against what I do and my values, which is making sure, hey, whenever you're coming to me and you have a problem, I'm going to fix your problem. The only way I know I can fix your problem is objectively showing you I just fixed your problem. And of course, and we have our reviews and everything, because once the problem's fixed, people are very, very happy. So it's tempting to say, come buy that thing from me so I can make a buck. But since it goes against my values, I won't do it. But that's not how the world works. These companies are able to sell them online, and they're going to spend the marketing dollars and the ad dollars to confuse you or mom or dad, whoever's watching this, right? To confuse you into going, that is just as good as a prescription hearing aid. Go see your audiologist when, for this, it's convenient. We'll send it in the mail and we'll give you a phone call and make sure that you're doing okay. That does not work. It doesn't work because if there's no way that they can validate that the thing is working for you without putting microphones in your ears in person, no one's going to do that. You shouldn't put anything in your ears, right? There's no way that they're going to be able to objectively verify that what they're saying is true. They're going to go, turn this up. Does that sound good, Mary? Awesome. Does that sound good, John? Perfect. Great. Congratulations on your purchase that you just paid $1,000 for, that maybe has a 1-year warranty, maybe a 30-day guarantee, and then in less than a year, you're probably going to spend that money towards prescription hearing aids because they're going to stop working. They're going to get impacted with earwax. And now you're stuck. But it's okay because I made some commission. And that's kind of like how the world works, right? Like, it's just so long as I'm making a buck, unfortunately, people will do anything to make a buck. So Don't go by these reviews and these reports. A lot of people like to hear cheap, cheap, cheap. Like, I'm sure the best hearing aid on Amazon is probably like $200 and has like 50,000 reviews of like, oh, I put these on and, and they were louder and grandma was able to hear me, right? But guess what happened to grandma's prescription? It was not met. Guess what happened if grandma had some cognitive decline, some dementia, right? It's not met. And guess what's going to keep happening is her cognitive state is going to keep failing. She's going to keep isolating because, oh man, everything is too loud. When I go to the restaurant, the silverware is too loud. The kids are too loud. The dog barking is too loud, because those are not for grandma. Those are for consumer greed. There's a little asterisk that I'm going to put here. And that is, if you do not have access to healthcare, if you are in Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, there's a lot of hearing aid providers. I'm kind of shocked about that. But if you're in a country where you don't have a hearing care provider, I'm in Florida. There's somebody I could throw a rock and probably hit an office right now, because guess what? Seniors come to Mickey Mouse. Seniors like to come to Central Florida, just Florida in general, right? But there's a lot of seniors. Where there's a lot of seniors in the United States, there's going to be a lot of offices, a lot of opportunity, a lot of competition. So that person could just walk in and say, I don't like this, or I don't like this guy, or I don't like this product. Let me go down the street and get another. There's someone that could not have someone for 4 hours. And I'd rather them have some power than none. So I'm kind of going to play devil's advocate here when it comes to those products. If you don't have someone that can go take care of you, we don't want grandma, grandpa to live in isolation, right? Some power is better than none. But if you have access to better, better is better. Better is better. Better is quality of life. Better is value. Better is preservation. There are so many comorbidities tied to hearing loss that why would you go cheap? Another thing that I don't like to talk on, because I get really animated, is insurance. I'm going to need a drink for this one. Hold on. I'm going to need 2 drinks for this one. God, I'm enjoying this. Like, this is better than St. Augustine this is what I think, right? I'm nobody. But when it comes to what I like, this is better than St. Augustine. I had the St. Augustine a little more and more, and I was like having a good time. But then I went to a Buffalo Trace, and please don't kill me when I say Buffalo Trace bourbon drinkers, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than St. Augustine. It was half the price. Insurance. Some insurances might cover mom or dad's, grandma, grandpa's hearing aids. Not fully, but in part. So if you're scared of like, oh, these things cost $4,000 or more, right? And we just can't afford that, so dad can't hear. And that's your temptation to get the over-the-counter thing. Like, here, dad, I didn't even have to go see a doctor or anything. I just bought this thing at Best Buy. Check with insurance first. I would rather someone, and they don't have usually the leading manufacturers, like the latest and greatest tech, but they can have some options for a value. And some insurances will cover more than others, and that's a whole other subject for a whole other day, because I can do that for 3 hours. And you guys don't want to hear me do that, because I'm going to turn into the Hulk, because insurance also enrages me. But look at that before buying an over-the-counter product. Now you're going to see Sony, Bose, Sennheiser, Apple AirPods Pro 2, right? These are big companies. Why would the big company get into the hearing healthcare space? Oh, because the FDA said that this would be okay. That if the person has a perceived mild to moderate hearing loss, they can buy this thing online and life should be okay. This is the readers at Walgreens, or the cheaters, as people call them, right? This is not going to be the best thing for them. But money, again, money. Sony knows, Bose knows, if I make this little product, I'm going to sell it. It doesn't matter. Like, it's going to cost me nothing to research and develop, but guess what? I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to pay a provider. I have no overhead. I could just sell this thing, and some people will return it. Some people will keep it. Some people are going to keep it for long enough for them to not be able to return it. And some people are going to love it. Hold on. Some people are going to put it on and go, this is the best thing I've ever heard, too. Like, that is going to happen. If you've not heard prescription hearing aids and you're going from not hearing to hearing some, you're going to go, man, I'm hearing the birds. I'm hearing these sounds. Just remember, if it's not meeting your script, it's not really doing what you need, right? This is, I don't know, like if I went to my cardiologist and he said, hey, we need to do this procedure. And I was like, hey, but I read online that there's this cheap little, I don't know, hose that I can do myself. I don't know, weird analogy. Like, it's weird that in audiology we have a cheap workaround, but that would never fly in another healthcare space. right? Like I can't go tell any other medical professional, like, hey, I know what you're saying is what's in my best health interest, but I found this cheap thing on Amazon. I think it's gonna be just as good. Don't worry. It has 30,000 reviews. It came from China, and the Chinese work hard. Nothing against Chinese, but some of them products is cheap. So, mild to moderate hearing loss. That's what they're talking about when they say you can get a over-the-counter hearing aid. I've been dispensing hearing aids for over 10 years at this point, and the amount of times that someone walks in and goes, yeah, I got a little bit of hearing loss. You would go, I mean, if I had a penny for the amount of times that I heard that, I'd be doing okay. I wouldn't have to be doing podcasts to try to gain social media popularity. I'm kidding, guys. This is my vent session. But so many people don't know the severity of their hearing loss. They'll come in and say, like, oh, no, it's not that bad. I just don't hear the misses sometimes. And they'll have severe hearing losses. Like, we do the test. Providers, if you're watching this, let me get a thumbs up, a like somewhere up in here. How many times have you not had the person come in like, yeah, I got a little bit going on. It is no big deal. I'm just trying to get the wife off my back. Or whatever version of that they hear. Yeah, the wife mumbles and and you get that story. And then moderate to severe high-frequency hearing loss or across the board or whatever. Their perception is, mild. FDA said mild. They're going to buy this thing that doesn't cover their hearing loss. Bottom, crap. They don't work, right? Like, that's going to be the answer. Oh, I tried hearing aids. I just choose not to hear. Like, all these funny guy things that really just, we've heard them all, by the way, guys. We've heard them all. What? As soon as you shake their hand, we've heard them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you think you're Mr. Funny Guy, but no. Anyways, let me take it. I'm not going against my patients. Get help, okay? I mean, if you're my patient, that means you already came and you knew better and you said I need help and you actually got help by a hearing healthcare professional. And if you've gone to a hearing care provider, kudos to you. By the way, if you're listening to this and you're over 55, go get a hearing test. Why not? I got a memory test and I'm 34. See, I actually had to think about it. So that's why I got the memory test, because I had to sit down and see. But it doesn't hurt. It's pain-free. You go in, you get a baseline, and everything should be okay at 55 unless you've been, a construction worker your whole life without protection, unless you were a veteran, you've been shooting guns without protection or with protection, just depending on how loud the environment was. Thank you to our veterans, by the way, because, a whole lot of you guys need a lot of help. And thankfully, a lot of you know. And for those that are listening that are veterans and don't like to use the VA because of reasons I can't understand because I didn't serve, so I'm not even going to be funny about that. Just know you have access to hearing aids for free, okay? Hearing aids are expensive, very expensive. You will have an audiologist. You will have a hearing evaluation. Go. Get treated. It's going to be a transformative experience for your life. But anyways, if you're 55 and you have a hearing evaluation and everything's healthy, good. If at 60 you notice some loss, then you're going to know the progression of your hearing loss. Does that make sense? Like, you're going to be able to go, the provider is going to see this was you in 2020, this is 23, this is 25, and sorry if there's a little wind here, and then you're going to see a progression, and you're going to see, okay, things are getting poor. At some point, your hearing care professional is going to say, hey, I think it's time you get some help, right? Listen to their advice. It's illegal for us to make a recommendation for prescription hearing aids if you do not have a prescriptive hearing loss to meet. Like, if we're having the conversation, it's because you need to have the conversation, because it's going to be a quality of life improvement for you. Anyways, I'm going to recap and bring it back to over-the-counter. Over-the-counter, for the most part, you're wasting your money. If you have, I don't even care if you're watching this in New York City, California, wherever you are. This is not a plug to come to Altamont Family Hearing if you're in Central Florida. Come find me, board certified, and I love what I get to do and help people here every day. But if you're not here, it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to have you come in my office. I'm trying to have you get the best health care, the best care for yourself, right? And the problem is people are ignorant to the other choices. Not everybody, but some people. Like the people that see this on TV, the amount of times that people bring these cheap little things. Oh, but it's $200. $4,000. I'm sorry. I see Hispanic patients. $4,000. $4,000. That's incredible. $200 is what I see on the ads all the time. What is that? I want that one. Guys, it's snake oil. It's not going to do it. And if you're It's tough because I don't want to come off as like elitist. And I know sometimes while I'm hearing myself talk, it can sound like, oh, of course you're preaching the best and this and that. But I guess that's just the kind of consumer that I am. Just when I'm buying anything, like I do homework and I like to get the best. My wife can tell you when it comes to a sound system, a TV, or anything like that. And this is not a consumer electronic. Like that's me trying to buy something that I like or want, not something that I need. If it's something that you need, first do some homework. There's so many great videos and people out there that talk about hearing aids. I talk about some of them in some of my social media platforms too, but there's, just educate yourself, know of the differences. So many people just, they don't know and they think that that's the best thing that they can get. And the lives that we get to change with prescription hearing aids, I'm not trying to do a plug here. It sounds like an ad. I hear myself like as I'm talking, but this is genuinely what I feel like deep in my heart and my soul and why I do what I do. The amount of lives that we get to touch and help with prescription hearing aids is remarkable. It's why I get up every day. It's why I go into the office. It's why I do content. It's just to spread awareness and trying to help people know that there's, the bigger picture. So many people don't know. And so if you're watching this and you have a family member that's been tempted, tell them, even if they buy it, even if they already bought it, tell them, hey, let's go get a real hearing test. They can measure and see, is the over-the-counter device close to what they need? There's a measurement that we can see, like, is it doing it? Because what if the person legitimately has a very mild hearing loss, 30 decibels on an audiogram, 25, 30, let's say max 35, right? What if they're there and they really are the candidate? They're the person that the FDA made this ruling for, and then they can put them on and still have a provider compared to prescription hearing aids and know, you know what, you just saved yourself $2,000 to $3,000. If the person's hearing well and happy and they notice an improvement and the family notices the improvement, then victory, and that scenario, there's other things that are going to cost some money down the road, but for some people's finances, going with like an a la carte system like that, like where you just get something to get by, like that might be enough. That might be more than enough, right? Something's better than nothing. But if that person spent money on a thing and they go, this thing was crap, or they're not hearing well, please, the takeaway from this video is please just tell them, go ahead, or this podcast. Also, we're doing video and podcast for those that are just listening. So for those that have that family member that's tried something and not doing well, go get a second opinion. Go to a hearing care professional. Go to someone that's going to legitimately tell you this is good, this is bad. Ask for real ear measurement, by the way. Do you do real ear measurement? There's other things to ask for, but that's the I would say one of the biggest things to ask for. And that's mainly it. I'm signing out, guys. This is Bald Hearing Guy. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things. If you like this sort of content, if you like listening to this sort of content, I'm really just going to break it down and have a more, I guess, authentic and genuine conversation about the things that fuel me, my passions, and they're mainly going to be entrepreneurship, audiology, of course, because that is my business. I don't think we're going to dabble too much in family because that's just a whole other thing. This is about audiology, and this is about growing as an individual and growing as a practice, and really just trying to reach more people. So I'm going to finish this. This was a hefty pour. It was a hefty pour for a single. In the future, I'm going to have some guests on here, and I'm sure these things are going to come down easier. So the goal of the podcast is to have other professionals come on board and just talk about things that are related to audiology or just overall entrepreneurship. If you like that sort of thing, hang out with me. And I'm having a blast doing this sort of thing. As a father of two, it's hard to make time, but I'm really, really enjoying doing this. So thank you guys for watching the content. Oh, my alarm is going off. So this has been fun. If you enjoy this, hang out for more episodes of Wax and Whiskey. If you're on TikTok, Instagram, follow me, Bald Hearing Guy, and have a drink with me. Take care, guys.